the one thing my journey has taught me is that the industry has to make room for you at some point. Like people can only ignore you for so long. You know?
See that right there?
Yeah, like I get being inspired by other people and I get taking what's worked for other people, but I think there's something so powerful about being authentically you and doing it so well that people around you actually have to be like, wait a minute, someone is doing something, whether or not we agree with it, whether or not we like it, whether or not it fits, it's being done, right? I think when that conversation kind of happens, there will be people who take to you and maybe some don't as well, and that's fine.
Welcome to the Culture's Biggest Podcast.
A podcast about creatives in and around Johannesburg, as well as those who relocate to the big city in hopes of leaving their mark within the industry. Our aim is to bridge the gap between established creatives and aspiring creatives by providing insight into the challenges faced by creatives along their journey. The podcast delves deep into the creative pursuit and offers aspiring creatives guidance on how they could turn their passions into sustainable businesses. My name is Julian Vogue, and this is
Culture's Biggest.
And we're live, man. Welcome back to Culture's Biggest. If it is your first time tuning in, my name is Jules, the Culture's Biggest nerd. And Culture's Biggest is a platform that celebrates South African minds. Some of the most brilliant minds come to this show to share their journey. And today is no different. We are hanging out with someone who's a big media personality, a podcaster, a YouTuber, and she's also the founder of Uncomfortable Growth and After School is After School. We are chatting to the one and only Gugulethu Nyatsumba. How you doing today?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for making the time, man.
Thank you for having me. What a privilege. Also, I feel like you're amongst the very few who said my surname as well as what you did.
Oh, so for real?
Yeah.
I was low-key stressing out about that because I was like, how do you pronounce that?
Yeah, no. You ate that. Well done.
What language is that, by the way?
It is Shangan. It's actually Shangan's surname.
Oh, Nyatsumba.
Nyatsumba, yes.
Oh, what does that mean? Do you know what it means?
I've asked, people always ask me this. I asked my dad. My dad said he don't know. So I said, okay, well, I don't know what it means then.
Yeah. Interesting, man. So obviously how we usually start the show, right? Just trying to understand your journey. How's the beginning of your journey? What's the introduction to culture for you?
Oh, introduction to culture was, I actually love the way you phrase that. I feel like in the beginning, a lot of who I was and what I did was wrapped up in being a student. And I feel like I followed a lot of the culture that the students did at the time. And that worked for me until it didn't. I went to UCT and I took a leave of absence in my final. I need to stop calling it a leave of absence because girl hasn't gone back in like 4 years. But essentially I dropped out in my final year and I did so because of mental health reasons. And I'd gone through a lot in that time and I wanted to give myself the space and time to heal. And when I took that time away, I think my perspective was just changing on like, I guess what was happening around me, the conversations, the platforms that existed. And I saw a gap in the market. And whilst in varsity, I'd wanted to start something with friends. But that kind of took long. You know, when you're waiting for like the group project, and people aren't, you know, and I think more than anything, it's because I had more of the inclination to do this thing than what they did. So yeah, I started it and I kind of feel like I'm here now. It kind of snowballed into what it is now. I think that I was looking for content that I would have resonated to at the time and stuff that I needed to hear. And I thought like, why not create a platform? So yeah, I started my YouTube channel and then from that we got my podcast.
So when you started this whole thing, right, you initially wanted to start your friends. Were your friends supportive of you doing this thing alone? Because you were nagging them like, hey, yo, let's do this, let's do this. And you're like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to do it alone.
Honestly, I can't say I was nagging them. You know that thing of like you're chilling, the drinks are flowing, it's wine. Let's start it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think I just took it a lot more seriously than what they did in that moment, which was completely fine. And also what I then started was something that was very different to what we had spoken about originally anyways. So yeah, very supportive, very much like do your thing, girl. And even in the beginning of my journey, especially with my YouTube channel, I relied on my friends a lot. You know, like you're starting something new. I'm kind of scared. I'm intimidated by the camera.
To like support you,
you know, to make you laugh a little bit, to make it easy and ease me into it. So yeah, very supportive for sure.
Beautiful. So you obviously went on to start a YouTube called Uncomfortable Growth, right? What was happening? Because you dropped out. What was happening? Like mental health, you know, which led to something that changed your life, you know? What was happening around that time?
Nobody's cara. Nobody's cara. School was tough. I've said this before on my platform, but I think when you step into university, so often we're prepared for like, I don't know, like when people talk to you and they prepare you, they're telling you that the schoolwork is going to be a lot, it's going to be a big load and so forth, which is true, right? And I think that conversation is important. But no one really speaks to, or especially at that time, no one was speaking to the experience of being in a different environment with different people, having that freedom, having to build your own routine, what taking care of yourself looks like.
It's a lot.
And yeah, because that conversation wasn't had, I kind of found myself drowning. I've also now come to realize that I'm someone who really thrives within a routine. So when I was thrown into this environment, that's far from home. My parents are back in Johannesburg.
All
I
over
can
the place.
do what I want. It proved to be a lot on my mental health as well. And honestly, whilst I was at UCT, there were a lot of things that were happening on and off campus regarding our safety. A lot was happening via the movements of women's rights and safety as well. I was dating, but I wasn't. I was dope. When I say it was a lot, it was a lot. Like there were just many things happening at once. And I didn't give myself the appropriate time to kind of heal and deal because I was just, when you're at school, so much of your identity is that you are a scholar and you want to do well, you know, especially when your parents send you to UCT, you're in a different city, they pay, you want to come back with a degree. So I had tried to put my feelings and everything that I was going to the side and push school until I couldn't anymore. And that's where I said, you know what, I need to take a break. And ideally it was supposed to be a leave of absence. I was supposed to take a year off.
Then come back.
But in that very years when I started Uncomfortable Growth and I kind of was like, oh wait, there's something else that I could be doing that I'm really enjoying. So yeah.
The time apart between you taking the leave of absence and starting Uncomfortable Growth, how far apart was that?
Not far. So I remember I had exams in that December and then December, November, and I decided to defer them because I just started new antidepressants and I felt like I was trying to adjust to that. So I deferred my exams to beginning of the next academic year. And as I'm preparing, I'm just like, this is not working. Like mentally, I'm struggling to focus, to take anything in. I just feel unstable and so let's say I decided to officially take the leave of absence in February of 2020. And then my podcast, I took the leave of absence in Jan. And then I started my YouTube channel in Feb. Yeah, because I did that 3-week run during the first initial lockdown that we had, which is what I think like helped me grow as much as what I did. Yeah.
Beautiful. So do you low-key feel like what you went through also led to you titling your YouTube channel Uncomfortable Growth?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I also wanted to create a space where I would feel comfortable talking about the things that I'd gone through and just very much acknowledging the fact that growth is quite literally uncomfortable. And we should be able to talk about the things that we go through in the process of growing.
Beautiful. I love that. So I read an article, like I was telling you earlier on Hype Magazine. It says your mission is to inspire emotional growth and encourage others to confront their challenges head on. Where does that come from?
It comes from the fact that I wasn't like that. And I think I've seen a lot of healing through being like that. I am someone who has been very avoidant in the past, and maybe I am on some days still. But I think that I've just really seen my life change for the better with tackling things head on and not being ashamed of what it is that I'm going through and my story. I think shame and guilt are very heavy emotions. And when you're riddled by that, you don't let yourself live. And honestly, I could have been doing what I'm doing now a very long time ago, but because I was in my head and I didn't believe that I could, it took some time. So I think that's the one thing I always want people to take from my story. Like, it really doesn't matter what you've been through. If you have a vision and a goal for yourself and you work towards it, you will see the fruits of your labor eventually, you know? So yeah, I just think everyone deserves to have a safe space. And everyone's feelings and thoughts deserve to be heard as well.
I love that. So you know what you said reminds me of a verse. I don't know the specific verse in the Bible that speaks about it is finished. You know, so it doesn't matter even if you kill the person. Even, you know, which is crazy, you know what I mean?
It's what the word says.
The word says it's finished.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I love that you eventually took the leap of faith and like, let me just do it, you know, especially creative people are people that suffer with imposter syndrome.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You don't feel like, no, I don't deserve it. Maybe not me, maybe that person, but not me, you know? And you took that head on, you were like, let me do it, which is beautiful, man.
Thank you.
On the other side of that whole journey, how do you feel? Like after being a person who's avoidant, like you're saying, being a person who's also, I'm assuming imposter syndrome, afraid of actually pursuing some of the creative things that you love. On the other end of you climbing that hill, how do you feel?
I feel proud.
Yeah.
Truly. I really do. When I think about the amount of growth that I've been able to exhibit over the past 5 years, I'm really like, there's a very big change, you know, Gooks, in the life you used to live and the person you were, and having a vision and seeing it come to pass. But I think the coolest part of it is that everything I have now, I truly didn't see for myself. It was just about starting.
I love that,
and it speaks to the fact that God really does have a plan for you. And I love my community because they've seen so many things for me. Like I started the YouTube channel. They were like, dude, start podcasting. And I wasn't into that space, but because they saw it for me, I leaned into it. And even now I feel like that's something that's very true to my life, and that I'm surrounded by people that still see so much for me. So in the moments where I have imposter syndrome, because I'm like, I've been able to do this, I've accomplished this, like where to from here? I don't really know. And it's very easy to like box yourself in. So I'm very privileged to be surrounded by people that are like, no, dude, I still see this for you and that for you. So I'm proud. I think
that.
I still struggle a little bit with the idea of being seen and perceived. And I don't know if you ever truly get used to it, you know, like I think at first you kind of get over that initial hurdle when you start, because you're like, let me just put my voice out there. It's fine. Whoever hears it, cool. And then you get comfortable with that, and then you grow. And as you grow, it's like, it's more eyes, it's more ears.
Love that.
Yeah. So it's my imposter syndrome, funny enough, feels like it's at an all-time high.
It's your superpower.
Yeah.
Low-key.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I heard now? I think it was from Pastor K. And he was saying something like, you'll never be that version that you think, once I'm this person, everything will be okay. You know? So if you're a person who, like for me, I have anxiety, especially when I have to do something big. Like that day when I had to like present, I'm sure you saw how I was before the whole thing.
Did you see how I was? I mean, as much as, between all of us as the speakers, I could tell we're nervous, but you didn't give me like, this man's about to like die.
Which comes to what I'm saying. It's like, you'll never be that person who's fully confident. You know, you just have to act regardless. Because the only way you become that person is by acting.
Absolutely.
Towards that person, which is so crazy, man. Like, it's really, really crazy.
But on top of that, sorry, just before you, sorry to cut you off.
No, it's all good, it's all good.
But I think it's cool to build credibility with yourself. And I think doing the Heat Seekers was that for us, right? Like as much as we were maybe like a bit anxious about it, but it's when you come off the stage to realize that like I did it even though in spite of being anxious, and on top of that, I can do it. And I think that's the coolest thing about those moments. Like when you come, you're like, okay, like I was in my head about it. But at the end of the day, I was able to do it. And when you build that credibility with yourself, I think you then believe that you can do more things.
Yeah, that's what confidence is, essentially. I want to tap into the reason why you chose mental health and obviously healing. In SA, you know, there's gossip, controversies. Vibes. You in a phase in your life where you're like, okay, I'm going to take this break from school, but I also love this. Obviously, maybe the hint of, I need to make money from this probably hit you. And you could have went that route of, okay, let me just gossip on my podcast, and you know, but you chose mental health. Why did you choose that?
More than anything, I needed the outlet. I think that I'd internalized a lot of my own journey, and I'd silenced myself, honestly. Like before, I started my YouTube in 2020. I think I got Instagram in like 2019. Had it in high school, deleted it. So like in general, I felt like I was a shell of a person. I wasn't sharing much. I was scared to be seen, to share. And starting my YouTube channel was a healing process for me to like trust myself, trust my voice, trust my journey, trust my ideas. So more than anything, it had nothing to do with It had everything to do with me.
Yeah.
And I think when I grew confident in that, and I grew confident because my community validated the things that I was going through, which made me feel really seen.
I love that.
And I was able to just kind of continue to navigate in that space. And I think like when you are someone who's maybe suffer from anxiety and depression, there's some things that you just don't find interest in. And I was like, gossiping is not going to do much for me. At the end of the day, I'm going to cry in this bed alone. Like we can laugh at somebody, but I'm still very much dealing with these real problems and issues. And yeah, I think it's just been very therapeutic to allow myself to speak freely. And whoever catches it, catches it. If it lands, it lands. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
What it is.
It is what it is.
You know what your journey reminds me of? There's this line where Drake says, I made money from reminiscing. You know what I mean? You make money from healing, bruv. Like, that is so crazy. I think that's sometimes going left is the best option you could ever take.
Absolutely.
You know, being unconventional. Obviously, in the beginning, it's going to feel like, ish, what's happening, you know, but it's so beautiful. Then how do you get to after school?
It's after school.
Yeah, because everybody knows what that means. You know?
Yeah. My community, honestly, in the YouTube comments was just like, dude, start a podcast. And this was at a time where like podcasting just wasn't a thing, especially in my life.
Yeah.
I wasn't consuming them. So I did some research and I was dragging my feet, dog, like dragging my feet. I didn't want to because I also hate sucking at things. So I felt like I'd finally found my rhythm within YouTube and now people want me to learn a whole new thing and I must start from scratch. So I was honestly very blasé about it for a long time until like, I was like, you know what, let me try. Let's just see. And obviously then we thought about the name of it. And I kind of wanted something that was an extension of uncomfortable growth, but like more grown, maybe a little bit more fun, more explicit, more free, more wild, I guess, if that's where I wanted to take it. And I have always kind of played on the idea of school, which is funny because I didn't finish university, but that's kind of just stuck with me. And I was like, you know, after school is a cool name. After school is my favorite time of the school day, period.
Of course.
After school was lit as well. People are fighting, people are meeting up with their boyfriends, you're unpacking the day, you're going to sports, you're going to extramurals. And I was like, that vibe and that energy is what I want for my podcast to be. So that's how I came about with the name. Yeah.
How do you separate, because these are two of your babies, you know? How do you separate them, or do you view them as like one thing?
I'm struggling, to be honest with you. In my mind, I have an idea of what they should be, but I don't think they're that as of yet. And I would like there to be more of a distinction between the two, to be quite honest with you. Right now, it's trial and error. I won't lie to you. Like, I think just trying to manage two platforms is proving to be a lot harder than what I thought.
But I don't know, from my point of view, it seems like one thing.
Yeah, for sure. Which I'm okay with, but I think in my mind, for the future, there's a different idea. I'm just struggling to like implement that.
Oh, I get you. Which one's your favorite to do out of the two?
Podcasting was my favorite thing when I wasn't doing visuals. It felt more free, to be honest. Like you and Mike, a studio chats, cool. And then the camera light, I was like, oh, okay, now you have to see me whilst I'm speaking. And some of the things I speak about are like vulnerable to me. So I feel safe in not being seen. No, still podcasting though. I'd choose after school, to be honest.
But isn't your podcast visual now?
It is.
Yeah.
So, but in the beginning when I started, I had no visuals. And I feel like that was when I was having the time of my life.
Audio podcasts are the best. That's how I consume podcasts.
That's how I consume podcasts as well. And I feel like I'm doing the visual thing because people have asked, and there's a wave and there's a movement and people want it for sure.
Yeah.
But in general, when I consume a podcast, like it's headphones in, go about my day, I'm not really watching.
Yeah, that is facts, man. Beautiful, beautiful. I want to tap into the money a little bit. We spoke about money outside, right? When do you get your first brand deal?
When did I get my first brand deal? Started in 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think towards the end of 2021-ish. It was an Asian brand, funny enough. I have no idea where they found me, but they were like, hey, here's some dollars, girl. Here are some products, girl.
For real?
Do a little something, yeah.
Damn.
And that's where it started. So the first brand I worked with wasn't a South African brand. And then thereafter, it was a South African beauty brand, if I'm not mistaken, that hit me up, which was cool, yeah.
That's really, really sick. Then how did that whole thing go? Like, did it sort of like affect your mindset and how you view brands right now?
No, not yet. In the beginning, no, to be honest. I think in the beginning, like, I was just very happy to be there. Like,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the work. Oh my goodness.
And the money, hey.
And the money. Yeah. No. Thank you so much for the work and the money.
Yeah.
A bit in my head as to like, I think when a brand jumps on or wants to work with you, approaches you, naturally you kind of want to shift gears a bit to be like, maybe need to sound more professional. Maybe I need to do this and that, you know? But I think the more you do it, the more you realize that they're coming to you for you. But I think the genuine shift for me was doing brand work through my podcast. Yeah, I feel like doing Instagram things here and there and YouTube, I don't know, like I was very calm about it. But it's now when a brand wants to jump onto the podcast or like have me have a conversation with someone where I was like, okay, cool, like this is actually a business. And there are a lot of moving parts to this as well. So I think that's when I kind of had the shift.
Before I started, I spoke about the fun fact of you being the second female guest and who also has a brand deal with a car. How did that come about?
With the car?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy you asked me this question. I've never spoken about it. It was such a God thing. So I went to the BAL, the Basketball Africa League, the thing that was happening in Pretoria.
Yeah.
So I love basketball. I attend every year. And luckily this year I was actually invited by the brand and they had a pre-celebration before the game started. And I'm on the way home. I'm tired as hell.
Yeah.
But this thing is actually up the road from me. So I'm like, you know what, let me honor the invite, go for 5 minutes. And I went and I sat at a table by myself and I sat next to someone and we just got along, like quite literally just spoke as people. And then eventually he asked me, he's like, no man, what do you do? And I was like, no, I'm a podcaster. And he's like, that's so crazy. I work for Hyundai and this is what we're doing. And I was like, okay, cool. But I didn't take it seriously. You know, chops happen all the time. You don't want to hold on. You don't want to clutch onto straws. But lo and behold, thereafter, he literally was like, no, dude, I actually think you'd be the person to do this for us. And from there, yeah, it is kind of what it is now. Which really speaks to the power of networking, you know?
Yeah. I was about to say.
Yeah, like I'm not someone who likes to be outside all the time. I'm not always someone who wants to speak also, but I don't know, that day was so organic. Like we were two people who just connected via our frequencies, our waves, our vibes. And yeah.
And you decided to go there for 5 minutes. Imagine if you're like, nah, not today.
Yeah, and that's me. Like, I'm really the type to be like, no. And funny enough, I said 5 minutes, I was there for 2 hours afterwards. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is great. How do you balance being a person like that in our industry? Because our industry wants you to be a person who's out there, you know. There's only a few people that can make it, being maybe introverts or not that social.
Yeah.
How do you find the balance?
I do what I can when I can do it. So when I have the space and the energy and the capacity, I do. If I don't, I try not to force myself. It is a job though. So there will be days where I don't feel like it.
And you still got to do it.
I still got to do it. But I think when I do it, I try to do it in a way that is still honoring and respecting myself and my boundaries.
Yeah.
So for instance, if I went to that event and I didn't sit next to who I sat next to and I was tired, I would have been there for a good 5 to like 30 minutes max, you know, done my due diligence of greeting and then leave. But a lot of my work has to do, actually all of my work has to do with me. And if I'm not okay, then that shows. So I think I take taking care of myself very seriously. It's actually my business, to be quite honest with you.
I love that.
And I owe it to myself as well. Like, yeah, the industry is interesting, but I think the one thing my journey has taught me is that the industry has to make room for you at some point. Like people can only ignore you for so long. You know?
You see that right there?
Yeah.
Oof,
like
I love that.
I get being inspired by other people and I get taking what's worked for other people. But I think there's something so powerful about being authentically you and doing it so well that people around you actually have to be like, wait a minute, someone is doing something, whether or not we agree with it, whether or not we like it, whether or not it fits, it's being done, right? I think when that conversation kind of happens, there will be people who take to you and maybe some don't as well, and that's fine.
I love that, man. I love that so much because in most cases, our industry, it kind of like forces you to, it's not forces you, but it's so easy for you to wear a different mask either than your own, you know, just to show up as this person, you know. Whereas then naturally you're like, I'm chill.
not that.
Like I'm not that kind of person. So
Yeah.
for you to be a person that wants to wear, what do they call it? Your heart on your sleeve. And that being your brand, that's just so sick.
Yeah, thank you.
That's sick. I respect that so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think that's a place a lot of creative people are fighting to be at. Me as well, you know. But that place solely just means you think you're the coolest person in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to change
Absolutely.
for anyone.
Absolutely.
Which is so dope.
You're right. Like, I think it's also cool that, like, when I stepped into the industry and into the space, I liked myself. I was getting to a place of liking myself. And the more I've grown, the more I like myself now. And I'm kind of like, I don't need the validation of other people in the industry at large. You know, like, I feel like if you rock with yourself, you have a community that rocks with you, your audience likes you. That's all
That's
you kind
the
of
only thing
need.
that matters.
Yeah. And I promise you, when you focus on that again, eventually people have to start paying attention to you. They can only ignore you for so long. Like, it's your superpower. It may take longer, right? Because you can play the game. You can do what needs to be done. You can be in the spaces. You can rub shoulders with those that you need to rub shoulders with, for sure. But it's about what you want to do more than anything. Like, you can navigate the space in so many different ways.
I love that. Talking about brands again, as a creative podcaster, what do you leverage off of? What do you think brands need and want from you?
They want my voice. I think they like the way I put my thoughts together and the way I share my story. I leverage my authenticity. It's all that I've really known. And again, it's very easy to like start the communication or like conversation with brands and want to change that. But I've really come to realize that they've come to me for me, and being me is my superpower. And I think even as creatives, like sometimes we don't deep things in that. Like me sharing my voice and my story, that's my intellectual property, you know.
Facts.
And
Facts, yeah.
That's something worth. That's something that has value, and that's something that has worth as well. So I think that's what I leverage off of, like knowing that it's coming from me and my story and my way and my voice and my vibe and my tone. Like that's what I leverage.
Then what happens when you get a brand deal that doesn't align with your voice, but the money looks good?
The money's good.
Yeah.
So funny enough, the day we had met at Heat Seekers, I think we spoke about this just a little bit, but guys, this industry's tough. You'll be broke. Like, yeah. And they're high highs and really low lows. I, funny enough, at this point of the year, there was a time where things were just really quiet, and financially, I just wasn't looking the best. And I got a brand deal. And it was a sufficient amount of money. And I knew that like logically it would make sense to take it because like, girl, you need the money, you need the bread. But instinctively, I just knew that it wasn't going to be a good fit.
Doesn't align with you.
It doesn't align with me. I knew I was overthinking how it is that I would have gone about the content pieces. I think my audience also would have been like, the vibes are kind of off here. Like, what's the vibe? It's not easy, but I know that in saying no to that brand, I was opening myself up to more work that would align with me and make more sense. And that no also takes time, right? Like, you have to be a bit of a seasoned veteran a bit. Like, I completely get being in the industry and taking whatever work comes to you and for you because you need the money. Like at the end of the day, everyone needs Zaga. Like you need it, you know? So I'm very privileged to be at a place where I knew I'd say no, but something else would still find me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you low-key also feel like maybe you can maybe do the campaign in your voice in a sense? Like, let's say you get something that doesn't align and you're like, hey, I need the money. Let me take it. But I won't do it the way that's conventional for them.
Yes.
I'll take it and twist it into
own.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think you can cheat the system. You know, like there's money on the table. You want to do it in your way. Cool, which is calm. That works. I think it just depends on whether or not you feel like it personally aligns. So that specific brand or that campaign personally felt against who I was, or not against who I was, but it's against what it was that I was standing for at the time. So even if I tried to like sell it any other way, I myself wasn't behind it. Like,
I love that.
Yeah, my spirit just wasn't with it. So I said, I can't. Yeah.
Oh, which is a tricky decision.
No, it's tough. No, and I don't want anyone to hear me say this and be like, oh yeah, so noble. I cried.
And especially if the money is good.
No, it was good.
And you needed it.
It was good. Oh, it was good. I even had a phone call with a friend and I told her, and I litmus said like, yo, this is how much they wanted to pay. And she kept quiet and she was like, you know what? Like, I'm hearing you, ne?
Yeah.
Mara, you can take the bag if you really want to. Yeah. So it's not easy.
Damn. And I mean, that's the route you chose. You know, it would have been a different chat if you chose the route where you can accept anything. You know, it comes back to like this whole thing of branding.
Yeah.
Some people think branding is non-existent, and it really does exist. And you seem like a person who cares so much about their own personal brand.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself in the future sort of like maybe doing mentorship for other young women?
Absolutely. I think that's a long-term goal.
Yeah.
I'll never stop podcasting, but I have many other interests and I want to be able to help people in different ways as well. For sure. When the money is up, I would definitely have to mentor people, take people to school, have more of like these workshops, especially in schools and especially for women and the girl child, as much as the boy child as well. But there are just so many conversations and so many moments in my past where I know that I just needed to hear someone who was maybe a little bit older than me speak about certain things, validate my emotions, or have someone to speak to as well. So yeah, for sure, I would love to.
I love that. So when did you realize, right, along your journey that Yakena Kamban, this thing that I'm doing?
I was doing something.
Yeah, it's the one.
Yeah.
When was that moment for you?
I think 2022. Honestly, 2 years into it, that was a good year.
2 years is also long, by the way. So
absolutely.
Just so people know to get where she's at.
Yeah.
You got to put in the work.
You're playing the long game. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, but 2 years into it, I think that's the year I got the YouTube Black Voices. Then towards the end of that year, I got the Spotify Grant Fund. I had a billboard in the States somewhere. There was a lot of things happening in that year. And also I think at that point was when I felt like I was being recognized by brands, like for real, like, okay, cool. I'm getting an email like twice a month, like there's something that's happening. So I think 2022 for me was a year where I was like, okay, cool, I'm doing this and I now need to lock in because I do have the potential of making money off of this.
And a lot of money at that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Yeah.
Damn, that's beautiful. Then have you faced any, like what's your biggest challenge that you've faced so far on this journey?
Holding space for myself.
Yeah.
Right? I think people know me as Sis G.U. And there's like a running joke within my friends. I'm like, yeah, guys, but what about Gugulethu? Like, what about her feelings?
Yeah.
And it's been very interesting seeing myself navigate the space, seeing myself have like a persona, even though like Sis G.U is very much a part of me, you know, but Gugulethu is still someone I take care of. She's still someone I revere. She is...
Wait. So, which is... Like what you're saying is so crazy to me. Sorry to cut you there. So you see yourself as like two entities?
I've had to. Now.
Damn.
Yeah. Like Sis G.U is definitely a part of me, but I feel like she is definitely a more on version. She's very more social for sure, more talkative for sure. Whereas I think Gugulethu on a day-to-day basis, my friends will tell you I don't like to talk. Like I actually really love silence.
Yeah.
I'm a lot calmer. I don't always want to be out there, and I think it's holding space for the duality of these things, right? In that, like I can be this, and I love being that, but I also love being someone who is a lot more like quiet, a lot more calm. And I think that's what I've struggled with. Like it almost felt at some point like I was giving a lot of myself to Sis G.U. Like all my energy was going there.
And that you're dying on the other side.
Was dying on the other side, right? So I think that's also like what happens when you're trying to navigate the industry. You learn these things. You kind of see what works for you. What am I doing that may be making me money, but that's working against me internally or as a person? So it's been that, right? And I think I'm in a really good place, the best place I've ever been via that, like taking care of myself as a person. But yeah, try and error. You won't know until you do something, until it makes you uncomfortable, until it triggers a response or whatever.
I love that. So have you came to like a place of balance?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the most balanced I've ever been, to be honest. Yeah.
I love that you're so open about that because a lot of people that have like personalities that are out there try to act like this person 24/7. Whereas it's the same as if you're an accountant, you wake up in the morning, you're going to do the work, You don't come back home to your wife as an accountant.
Yeah, no, you don't. You're a husband.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
I love that you're also viewing it that way because it shows that you're actually serious about your career, which is so beautiful. I read something about you again. I read 3 articles and you spoke about starting a radio station.
I did.
Which is so crazy.
I did. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Tell me about where that dream comes from.
Always loved radio. Always. Like grew up listening to the radio. The radio was blasting in the house, in the car, anywhere. As I got older, YFM was my station. So I think I've just always had a love and appreciation for it.
Yeah.
And it's still very much a dream, but I kind of feel like doing podcasting has kind of satisfied me in relation to that just a bit, because it kind of feels like I'm able to speak about what I want, like there's a mic. It kind of has that feel of being on radio, but not exactly. I would still love to start my own radio station. It just needs a lot of money, a lot of funding.
Yeah.
A girl doesn't have that yet. But yeah, I think it would be cool to create something and have
beautiful.
Like the likes of you host a show, like people that I revere as well, creatives that I think are really cool and their voices matter. Like having us all kind of build something together will be amazing.
Would you become a radio presenter?
I'd love to. I'm not against it at all. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Would you?
I actually used to do a radio show.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was this?
So I started as an intern.
Okay.
93.9.
Okay.
As a sound engineer. So, yeah. Through that, there was a guy who was like, "Hey, Jules, man, I like your voice. Would you want to try this out?" And I was like, "Oh, why not?"
Yeah.
Tried it out, and it was like,
and it worked.
I had a show and everything. It was really dope.
Nice.
And the station had to close down. So
yeah. Okay.
But it was really sick. I do see myself going back there, but
I see it for you.
Yeah, not anytime soon. Because I had an opportunity recently. It just didn't make sense.
Okay.
Because I could just build my own thing.
I was also about to say that committing to that whilst doing what you're doing is very hard. Yeah.
But if it makes sense and it's for a commercial station that
you vibe with,
then why not?
Yeah, for sure.
That would be really sick. Plus, there would be a lot to learn from a commercial radio station.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So just to tap back into the conversation, this ain't about me.
Yeah.
Joburg.
Johannesburg.
You've been here your whole life.
Yeah, my whole life.
How has this city shaped the way you do things creatively?
Yes. So born in Durbs, from Durban, moved to Joburg for a bit. From Joburg, moved to the UK. From the UK, moved to Joburg.
What are you doing in the UK?
My dad got a job, so we lived there for a little bit. So if I'm not mistaken, I moved back to South Africa, Joburg, when I was 8 years old, and I've been here ever since, essentially.
Yeah.
I love this place. I think naturally with any place that you've grown up in and been in for a very long time, you're going to get over it a bit.
Yeah.
But the older I've gotten, the more I've come to appreciate Johannesburg. I love the hustle and bustle. I love the fact that it's such a creative space and a creative hub. I love the fact that there's so many young Black creatives as well in the space. I think Joburg keeps me on my toes. I think when it comes to work and getting things out and feeling creative sometimes, it can inspire that for sure. Also just drawing inspiration and motivation from the people around me is amazing. Being in really cool spaces, meeting you through heat seekers, Joburg has also told me to chase the money a bit. There's money to be made.
And there's a whole lot of money in Joburg.
I think Joburg is nice because you see it, right? Physically, that no, guys, there's money in this place. There's money to be made. It's made me more of a go-getter. I think Joburg is kind of more of my unspoken side. I think when I was in Cape Town, I was very relaxed and airy.
Because it is also a very calm.
Yeah. With Joburg, it's kind of turn your shit up.
Yeah, you gotta work.
We gotta work.
If you're not working in Joburg, the next man is...
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to take your food.
Oh, absolutely. Joburg, you're going to stay on your toes.
Yeah.
And I think I've come to appreciate that, especially when it comes to work, It may not be my favorite place to rest, but it is my favorite place to work right now.
I love that. Where do you see podcasting in the next 5 years in the SA? Do you see it competing globally?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think when you think about what the podcasting space was 5 years ago already, and you see where we're at, and we were having this conversation a little bit earlier before, and that like, it's really cool because it almost feels like the space has diversified, right? So it's not just the podcasts that are speaking about like social affairs, gossip, whatever. Like
Different
you have people,
niches, yeah.
dog, like it's health, it's music, it's culture, it's business, it's
Gossip.
religion, it's gossip. There's so much. So in the next 5 years, and also I think that we're really good storytellers as South Africans in general, as Africans actually.
And we have great stories to tell.
Dude, great stories, like amazing stories. So if anything, I do see that, I do think that in the next 5 years, we will be competing globally. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Your podcast is community-based. How important is community?
Oh, so important. I wouldn't be here without it. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think what's been really cool is that through being myself, I do feel like the community that I've been able to grow and have has been a community that makes sense for me and I make sense for them as well. And I can sense it and feel it when I do something and I'm supported, or even just bumping into people and being met with warmth and love, reading comments as well. I said a little bit earlier that through what it was that I went through when I started my platform, that a lot of people's engagement made me feel less alone. And I think people don't understand how much it does for me when someone comments is like, yo, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. Even till this day, I think just building a community where I feel seen by them and they feel seen by me and we hear each other out means everything to me.
That's so beautiful. I want to find out, you do a podcast mostly about healing, mental health. What was the hardest episode to record? Because these conversations about mental health, they're not easy. And besides them not being easy, they're actually conversations people don't want to have.
Yeah.
You know? They just think, it's going to disappear.
Yeah.
You know, so what was the hardest conversation for you?
I can't think of the hardest episode overall.
Yeah.
But I know I struggle when I speak about things that I'm going through in real time. Because it's one thing to kind of like reflect on something that happened a year or two ago. You know, you feel very detached, you've healed, you're done with it. That's cool. But
You've outgrown it.
You've outgrown it, which was what the case was in the beginning. Like when I actually started Uncomfortable Growth, I thought I'm going to be talking about everything from the past.
Yeah.
Unknowingly, I named this thing Uncomfortable Growth. God, I want to be chatting about my whole life all the time. And I'm still experiencing more things. So sharing my real life in real time feels very vulnerable to me because I also feel very protective over my life and the things that I go through. So yeah, anything that kind of has to do like with my personal life, like dating, if I'm not in a good mental space, that's kind of hard to share. The struggles that I had, I recently spoke about, there's an episode I have that's called the frontal lobe theory. And essentially I was speaking about like what being in my later 20s feels like in comparison to my earlier 20s. And just publicly acknowledging the change in myself, the change in my mindset, not being about the things that I used to be about. Like, as much as that conversation was freeing, it also felt very vulnerable because I felt like I was really letting people into this version of who I am now. Anything to do with my personal life and that I'm going through in real time is quite hard for me to share.
So with Gugu being who she is today, what would you say to Gugu in her early 20s?
Younger Googs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into the camera. I would tell her to breathe. I would tell her to breathe. I would tell her that she has time. I would tell her that she is young, that making mistakes is normal. You're supposed to make mistakes, especially at that point in time of life. I would say that God has a plan for you. You don't have to feel like you have it all sorted out. You know, you believe for a reason. So practice your faith. I would say that being you is your superpower. So never try fit into a space, mold yourself to be something else. Like, just enjoy the ride. Enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy it for what it brings. Enjoy each version of yourself that also exists in those spaces because you'll love her, but that version of you, you'll outgrow eventually. And then you'll have to make space for the new version of yourself.
I love how you spoke about taking time. As young people, man, especially living in the digital era.
Crazy.
You know, all these influences from people, you feel like you need to speed up your own process so you can get to maybe where they are, you know. I love that perspective. Just be kinder to yourself, you know, like.
Also, to remember that you're exactly where you need to be. You may not feel it or think it, right? But in the grand scheme of things, when I think about moments in my life where I felt very frustrated and stagnant, God was actually doing a bigger work in me and preparing me for the next thing or preparing the next thing for me, whatever the case was, right? And I also know that in this industry, we just in general, I think we're a generation that really values self-gratification, right? And things happening instantly. And also with Instagram and social media, like you wake up, someone has a car, you know, someone has a house, someone is overseas. And we don't know the work that people put into things. You just kind of see these moments. People aren't going to show you when they're crying, when they're down, when they're broke.
And that's how it is.
That's just how it is. So be patient with yourself, right? Like everyone has had to be on their own journey to get to where they are. You're going to go on your own journey as well. And I believe in the journey so much because had I not, genuinely, Jules, had I not gone through the things that I'd gone through, even in being in this content creation space in the past 5 years, I wouldn't be handling the things that I'm handling now the way in which I am. Truly. So I see the maturity, I see the growth.
I love that.
I see the need to be calm. I see that there was a plan.
That's beautiful. You know, something that's still stuck with me from the BAI, I walked in on you guys praying. You know, it was you, it was Dennis, and Hope.
Yes.
You know, I think one of the things, if I'm going to paraphrase that I heard about, can you loosen our tongues? Because obviously you're going to go there and speak, and you know, and I just thought that was so dope. I came into that room, I didn't interrupt. I came in and I just joined the prayer, you know, which I think is so beautiful because in the creative space in our industry, a lot of people forget about God, you know. How are you finding your journey, walking this life thing, walking this creative journey with God?
Beautiful. Beautiful because I can see that he's orchestrated my steps and brought me to this place. But also I believe the higher you go, the lower you bow. So I don't think that I could forget him. Right? Because everything I have is due to him. And he really does ground me. And I believe that he's given me this talent and my gifts. And I want to be able to serve him through it. So I love that you mentioned that because I pray that all the time. Like if I have a speaking gig, even on the way here, I ask that the Lord loosen my tongue and that the Holy Spirit speak through me. Because I think you need to like surrender yourself, right? Especially if you think you're a vessel and you want to be used. It's not about you, dog. It's not about you. And I feel like this is an industry where everything feels like it's about you, right? Because it's your face, it's your image, it's your like Instagram, it's your and I think it all comes down to purpose. Like I wholeheartedly believe I'm in this space because I was called to be in it. And I want to make sure that I'm always doing the best with what I have and the opportunities I have as well. So yeah.
Love that. I'm also coming to like a realization. I cannot do this without God.
You can't.
Yeah, alone.
Shame. Yeah.
It's really crazy, man. So I really appreciate your answer so much because I do think there's also a lot of people that look up to you and maybe may not look up to you because of your faith.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So for them to find out, okay, she's also like religious, believes in God and puts God first, can be life-changing, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the most important question of the podcast is, what does culture mean to you?
Oh, what does culture mean to me? I was thinking about this on the way here. Culture is the now. Culture, well, currently for me.
Okay.
Culture feels like it is, it's the way that we do things. It's the things that I'm consuming. It's the voices that are around me. It is the people that I feel like are paving the way in a way in which is different from the way we've seen other people do it. I think there's been a shift in culture in that like for a long time it seemed to be like one thing and now it's something else. You make your own culture, right? You make your own vibe, you make your own name, you have your own influence. So like when I think about culture, I think about it's so weird to say, but I think about like a Thandiswa Mozwai. And I'm so obsessed with her right now because of how authentic she is to herself. Like from the way she dresses to her sense of style to like her music. I think about that. I think about, there's someone else who was on the tip of my tongue. Like, culture is the way we do things. Culture is everything, right? I don't just believe like it's this one thing. It's the way you speak. It's the way you create. It's the way you work. It's the way you interact.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's all around us. It's constantly evolving. But always obviously paying homage to those that came before us and respecting them as well. But allowing ourselves to like create a new culture as well. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's so dope. That's so dope. Yeah. You know, with this podcast, man, getting people's perspectives of what culture is just so sick for me, man. Last question that I want to ask you is, what advice would you give to other people that are also pursuing what you're doing right now? Yeah.
I'd say pray on it, firstly. Pray on it because whatever is meant for you will find you, one. Two, I would say get out of your head. Get out of your own way, if anything. Someone said that to me recently, and I've been reciting it in moments where I can feel that I'm hindering myself. Get out of your own way, get out of your own head, and that like you'll never know until you try, right? You'll never know who rocks with you until you put yourself out there. You won't feel ready, like you said, like you'll never feel fully confident, but you just have to believe and trust in who you are in that moment to know that you're able to get the job done. I would say have fun. Oh my goodness, have fun. Like don't lose that. If you enjoy having conversations with your friends, make sure that the guests you're having conversations with are people that inspire you, people that you're learning things from. Like it's good and dandy to do things for numbers, for sure. But I think also make sure you're feeding yourself and feeding the passion for what it is that you're doing. That's very important.
I love that.
And make money, hey?
Of course.
No, yeah, make money in the ways in which feel comfortable to you. Like the way in which I've gone about it may not be the way that someone else goes about it. And that's completely okay, dog. Like get your bag at the end of the day. And create stuff that you're proud of.
I love that.
Yeah.
I really love that so much, man. Damn. The money chat in SA?
Nah, dude, it's tough.
Creatives don't actually... A lot of creatives that I've like had chats with, they always on some putting the art first, which is okay, you know, but like being paid for your art is one of the greatest feelings in the world, you know, so why not make a lot of money from that? We were talking about how Thabiso Takamela was like, he's pro make money in the art space. You know? He's not opposed to making money, which I think it's dope. And for you saying that, hey, yo, get your money for real. Get your money. This economy is...
dude, this economy is tough, dog. Especially if you're wanting to do this as like a full-time gig, like... Hey, do what you need to do.
Do what you need to do,
and our processes may not be the same, but there's not one way that's right and another that's wrong at the end of it, you know? And I think when I also say make your money, I mean like charge your worth, like approach brands, network, like put your name out there. Do what you think is best.
Beautiful. Gugu, thank you so much.
Of course.
Coming through.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
This has been dope, you know, just to hear your journey, hear about your journey. You know, to understand how this person that I'm sitting next to got to where they are, which is it's so dope because what's that quote again? There's proof in the pudding.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like conversations like these, having conversations with people that are in the space. For me, it's so important because I'm also trying to navigate the industry.
Yeah.
And find, you know, different ways. And what better way to learn from people that are doing it, you know? So thank you so much.
Of course. Also, I just want to say, what you're doing is amazing, right? Because you're having conversations with different people in the industry with different perspectives. And there are people that are watching that are going to resonate with one person or the next. And I think it's important to hear about people's stories because you make us realize that the things we're working towards are very possible.
Yeah.
Right? And if it wasn't for you who had an interest in getting to know who we are as people and our backstories, people wouldn't know that, you know? It really would still be very much face value in what you see online. So it's amazing that you've created a space such as this where people feel comfortable and safe enough with you to share their stories. So thank you.
Thank you for coming through and sharing.
Of course.
Thank you for sharing, man. Yo, thank you so much. This has been dope, man.
Yeah, I had a lovely time.
And there you have it, guys. The one and only Gugulethu Nyatsumba. I'm saying it again right.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to her for pulling up. If you enjoyed that episode, do subscribe. And let me know who would you like to see on the podcast. And we out. Peace.
Bye, guys.